Hi everyone, Diana here with your weekly soul message, psychic soul message, and perhaps a prediction or two. This is the 34th week of the year 2019, and this is for August the 18th to the 24th, I do believe. I want to welcome everyone. Thank you all for coming back. Thank you for your comments. I do read them as soon as they come in, but sometimes it gets piled up, and so I don't always get around to reading or to responding to your comments, but I do that as quickly as I can. But I do read them and so appreciate it. And believe me, you're the ones who are keeping me doing this. This is not real comfortable for me. I'm used to a live audience, and that's much easier for me to stand in front of 10 people or 1,000 people and speak to them. And that's easier for me because I get the energy of the audience. So I thank you for telling me that these videos are helpful to your life. We will get a message from Phillip in a little bit. And this is an oracle book, and each page has a different wisdom on it, and we just flip through and get our message for the week. But what I'm going to do, and thank you for those of you who said, just read us Philip's words. That's great, because that makes it so much easier on me. This week, what I'm going to do, though, is read a whole conversation I had with Philip, and I'll try to distinguish where I'm speaking or I'm writing and where he's speaking. I can feel the difference in the energy, and I hear the difference in the words. He uses different words than I use, but that's because I'm used to it. And the reason I wrote this is it's been a rough time for so many people. And I want to remind you of something the Wall Street Journal wrote about a few years back. They did a survey, and they said that 20% of the population is sensitive, and even that's on a scale. But that means 80% is not real positive. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But basically what I was asking Philip about is so many of us are weary. We're just plain burned out. We're tired. What can we do about this? So here we go. This was actually this morning, about that bewitching hour, that hour when the veil between the worlds is so thin, around 4 o'clock. So, I start out, good morning, Philip. And then I simply ask, why are we all so weary? Not every day. Most days we find such delight and pleasure in life, but then we become weighed down by the woes of the world. I remind myself, as you have taught me, to rest and to enjoy the small wonders of life, the music of the tree, frogs at night, the beauty of a daisy wildflower, the joy of my beloved daisy dog, or the soft fur of one of the cats. I remind myself, as you have taught me, that a 5-year-old does not have the knowledge of a 10-year-old. So does the new soul not have the experience and wisdom of a soul who has had many incarnations in this dimension? I want to just stop there for a minute and emphasize that, because we often expect a 10-year-old to have the knowledge and wisdom of a 5-year-old, and we expect someone who's 25 to have the same knowledge as a 50-year-old, and it doesn't work that way, or a 25-year-old to have the same knowledge as a 10-year-old. So what we do have to remind ourselves is there are new souls incarnating in the world, and their experiences are going to be different than those of us who have been around learning things for a long time. So I went on to say to Philip, I remind myself of all this, and still there are those times when I feel all I can do is put one foot in front of the other and do my best to move forward, when in truth it feels like I'm not moving forward. I'm just repeating old patterns that I thought I'd healed, and the world isn't getting any kinder. I remind myself that the football player drops back a few feet before running forward and kicking the ball over the goalpost. That was the visual that kind of came to me, and it's an interesting visual because I don't watch football, but that one came. And I also said, I remind myself of all this, and still. Philip jumped in there and he said, "You feel so weary." Yes, we see this. And we know many in your world are feeling this too. We are allowing you to experience this at the moment to build an understanding of where so many are caught right now. Shall I repeat that? We are allowing you to experience this at the moment to build an understanding of where so many are caught right now. You, dear one, have reached beyond the sadness, the weariness of the world. You have lived in joy and can return to joy any time. You have chosen to visit the weariness that so many are experiencing now, so your empathy and understanding are greater. This is the experience your soul has asked for. You have been fortunate enough to have experienced joy in this life incarnation, so you can pass joy along to others who have not yet experienced it in this lifetime. They will then remember joy because all of us have known joy at some point during a soul's incarnation. Philip is telling us that every one of us have experienced joy, and so we can remember how to experience joy. Souls begin, he goes on to say, souls begin life joyfully, for all come from pure love. As we have been communicating, you heard the first bird's song of the morning. Your heart leapt with joy at the sound because your mind, even in your weariness, your mind is attuned to hearing the bird's song and experiencing a moment or two of joy. Look to what makes you happy, what gives your heart joy, and bring this to the world. This then gives you the strength to face the wounds of the world and to help them heal. Weariness and ecstasy. These are the experiences you as humans have chosen. You live not always in joy. Why then do you allow yourself to live in the weariness? And that says a lot to me. You know, when we live in weariness, when we're tired, we think it's going to, it's going to last forever. We think, I'll never get out of this. And that keeps us deeper in the weariness and joy. Excuse me, I must have a piece of hair on my face or something. Or what is that old saying? The nose itches and so company's coming. But anyway, welcome company. Welcome to my humble office here. Anyway, I think when we experience joy, though, it seems to go by so quickly. We forget we can live there for a much longer period of time. We don't have to live in the weariness. You can experience the trek up the mountain you wish to climb as either a burden or an adventure. Most likely, you will experience it as both. This is as it should be. You have come as a spiritual being to experience human life. Does that not mean the experience of all human emotions? You have the choice of which human emotion you wish to experience. Just as you have programmed yourself to feel joy when you hear the bird song, you have also programmed yourself to experience sadness when someone chooses to leave. The programming comes, of course, from many different directions. At any time, in any moment, you may choose to change the programming. And as you do, the experience will change. As an adult, you must lead the children to help them grow. To do so, you must be able to understand their emotional thinking, not what you see as logical. Is not the same true for those who have returned to guide those who are new to the human dimension? It serves not to get frustrated or angry. It serves the purpose of the human experience to go through the range of emotions for the purpose of understanding. It is only through empathy that we can guide another to their joy and greater understanding of the human experience. It is only through understanding the emotional response of the other that we can remind them of the soul's joy. And then I say, wow, thank you, Philip. I am so grateful for your teachings. And Philip answers, as we are grateful for you and all who remind those in need of the truth of all humans, you are pure love. And then I write, I feel the truth of that and I am grateful. We are pure love. We are all pure love. May the truth of that be known by all of us. And then Philip responds, it is. It, in each act of kindness, if only for a moment, it is known. In each smile or loving touch, if only for a moment, it is known. You are all pure love. That is easy to forget when we see people. Oh, and then I say, that is easy to forget when we see people committing evil deeds. And Philip responds, it is the deed, not the person, that is evil. With every word or act of kindness, you remind all that everyone is pure love. And then I say, will there ever come a time when everyone will remember? And Philip responds, yes. That time is not to come soon for the world, but it can exist in the private world of the individual. The more individuals who build their peaceful worlds, the less will be the need for warriors. Let not the weariness of the warrior linger on your shoulder. Let the experience come and then let it be. Understand the weariness carried by the warrior and then put it aside and bring peace to all who come to ask for your words and deeds of kindness. As you give another the drink of love, they remember that they too are love. All right. You know, I write this and I do not reread it until I read it to you. And it always amazes me when I'm reading it to you. I'm going, wow, Philip, wow. So let's get our other message from Philip, shall we? I am not going to give you anything from the Joy book today because Philip just told us how to create joy in our lives. So here we go. Think left page, right page. And I love it when your comments come in and you say, I thought left page and you said left page. And you know, I always read you both messages, but our message is either left page or right page. So what are we going to do? Left page or right page here? This is where I'm pulling and I'm hearing left. So I will read right page as well, but our message is on the left page. The bud of the flower will not grow where only weeds are planted. The bud of the flower will not grow where only weeds are planted. We have to plant love to experience love in our private worlds and in our greater world. And the right side, find peace and war will be meaningless. Find peace and war will be meaningless. Thank you, my friends. I love you for coming and coming back. Someone recently asked me how to find your spirit guide. And I said, I do a 3-day workshop on that one. But I also have an article out there on my website. And when I went looking for it, I couldn't find it. So I said, I will either repost that 7 ways to find your spirit guide, or I'll start giving those hints on our weekly messages, or possibly even do a whole nother video. I haven't had time to really think a whole lot about it. But the easiest way is just, as I find, I just start dialoguing. But I want to say, whenever you're dialoguing with Spirit World, you always, always want to remind yourself and all of the energy that only that which comes from love may come to me. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for the love that you send to Daisy and the kitties and I. We're all doing well. Daisy's kind of showing her age because we have wooden floors and she's having some trouble getting up. So if you want to send her a little extra healing, I'm sure she would appreciate that. The medicine doesn't seem to be working, but I think it's just the slipperiness of the floor. So, thank you for the love you send to us. Thank you for receiving our love. And thank you for the extra love you're sending to my hometown in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, and all of the other places that have been targets of mass shootings, and all of the places worldwide that are in unrest right now. I love you, my friends. Thank you for helping me and helping all of us create more love in the world.